Probably my favorite joinery technique when I'm woodworking is a mortise and tenon. There's just so many things it can do, and it plays a big role in me making the kinds of projects that I like to make. Now there's several ways you can attack both making the mortise and the tenon, and I want to show you kind of a fun way to do the mortise. I'm going to use a router because it creates a mortise with really smooth sides that goes together easily. But I'm going to change things up a little bit, and I'm going to use it on a router table where the router is mounted horizontally. Now that's different than a typical router table where the router is suspended below the surface. What I like about this method is that it gives me really good visibility of the bit and control of the workpiece as I form the mortise. And you'll see that in just a few minutes. Now getting started is going to be just like any other operation, and it requires a little bit of layout. So what I've done is drawn in the location up and down for the mortise on the end of just one of my workpieces. I'm going to use this as a setup gauge throughout the whole process. So in doing that, now I can use that to center my bit on the workpiece this way. Another way to do that is to use a setup block. Now you can find these in a variety of styles like this aluminum one or other kinds of setup blocks made out of brass or even steel. So you can set that in place and then just lower the bit onto it because there's an adjustment on the back here that lets me slide the router bit up and down. So when I have that locked in place, I'm all set. The next bit of layout is to define the start and ending points of the mortise. Now I've just done that with some pencil lines. Then I can use those pencil lines and line that up, just eyeballing it with the router bit this way. And then I'll make marks on the table, because I have a nice bright white surface to make marks on, for where the beginning point of the mortise is, and then where the end of the mortise is going to be. Now with these two lines, I don't need to make any other layout marks on my workpieces. So it really simplifies the process of the layout. What I can do then is I'll just line up the piece at the beginning of the cut on that line, plunge it into the bit, slide it along the back fence to the next line. And then I can just pivot the workpiece away and I have the mortise. Now the only thing here is that you don't want to make the mortise to its full depth in a single pass. It puts a lot of stress on the bit and the router motor. So what you want to do is do it in successively deeper passes. So for this first one, I've set the bit for about 1/4 of an inch deep cut. So I'll make one pass, then I can reset the bit depth again and make a second pass or a third to get to my final depth. What you notice when you're done is that you have a really smooth mortise that's easily and quickly made. So if you don't have a horizontal router table set up, I advise you to look into it and have some fun making some mortises.